Hello and welcome to another exciting evening with the Space Oddities crew. Hang on, let's switch off. Let's switch off. Oh, let's switch off. Right. Okay. So Andy will be in later. He will be coming in with our guest for our special talk later around about 8:30. So there we go. We're a bit still on the ground still, but quality, not quantity, is what I always like to say.
There we go.
And we have Lou out on location, so to speak, to give us some information on what's going on at his location. Evening, Lou.
Yes, good evening. This is an exciting time of year if you're a planetary scientist or an Earth scientist. Earth is not a planet, by the way, for NASA. It's got its own budget. Or a heliophysicist. Okay, this is the time of year when they have what they call the Fall American Geophysical Union Conference. And traditionally, this conference has been in San Francisco, California. But recently, it's kind of moved around a bit as they've made some modifications, some upgrades to the what's called the Moscone Center here in San Francisco. But this year, we're back in San Francisco. So it's great. Weather's nice. It's 30,000 of my closest colleagues here all at once, occupying every hotel room for miles and miles. And as you might imagine, the conference center is enormous. Ooh. I had hoped to be on the conference floor at the NASA booth today, live streaming some interviews with some of my colleagues. But it turns out that the software we're using is not very friendly to mobile devices. Roger could hear me. I couldn't hear him. He could see me. Nope. I couldn't see him. So what I'm going to do is, I had to come back to my hotel and get on my laptop. So I'm going to give a little update on the conference and some of the things. Okay.
Right. Okay. So I suppose in tradition, it will be me to give you the weekly update on what's going on in the night sky. So here we go. Okay. Right. Okay. So for the week of the 12th to the 18th of December, gosh, we're coming up to the week before Christmas already. How quickly that year has flown. So currently this evening or today, there has been a new moon, and gradually working our way through to the quarter in another week or so. But be aware that this week we have got the Geminid meteors, which will be peaking on Thursday the 14th. So if the clear skies allow, get out there, have a look, and sit back and enjoy the view. And if you can, maybe submit some pictures for the gallery. That would be fantastic. So here were a few views of the moon that I've done in the last few days. Not very successfully because the weather has been absolutely atrocious. But that never puts me off. But there we are. So these are for 11 p.m. GMT, and as you can see, we've got the glorious winter circle now in full view, with Orion heading up towards its best position for looking at. And obviously Jupiter still dominating the skies, and unfortunately by this time of the evening the ringed planet Saturn has now set, but Jupiter is still a fine object to look at, and things are looking rather good at the moment with our favourite planets and all our winter constellations out on full view. And obviously as the night progresses, we're getting over towards Leo, and we know what that means, galaxy season. But enough of that for next year. Obviously, for the early morning people who like to get up and have a look out towards the east, they can see the brilliant morning star known as Venus. And that is now traversing from Virgo into Libra at the moment. And jolly nice it is too. But if you want to go and look for a comet, also in Leo, we've still got Comet 62P. It's not as bright as it should be for visibility, but binoculars and a small telescope will be able to show you its location as it goes through Leo. Magnitude on the left-hand side, so it's about magnitude 8.4 or so. So if you want to have a look, and this was an early morning view of Venus and the moons, which I had taken earlier in the week, just to prove that I do take pictures in the morning of the sky like that. But without any further ado, we can then progress on with the gallery. Okay, Rachel?
Okie dokie.
Right. Okay, so.
Okay, thank you, Roger.
Okay.
It's a smallish gallery this week, but high quality nevertheless. So we've got a Flaming Star Nebula sent in by Jerry, which is obviously in the constellation Auriga. It's next to the tadpoles, I think, as well, which is a nice little area to point your scope at. And this is 55 sets of 300-second exposures.
Wow.
Holy moly, that's like a life's work.
That's certainly a different
reel full of
view from what I see, but a lovely picture nevertheless. Very good.
Which is very good. So thank you, Jerry, because I know he is also watching. So well done, Jerry.
Yep.
And of course, Jerry's always a busy person, so he's also been looking at the California Nebula in Perseus.
He seems to be getting more clear skies than me. That's not on.
Has Jerry moved to Sparkford and he just hasn't told anybody?
Well,
so here is Jerry's California one. I've never ever done this target. I need to persuade Johnny to come and have a look at it.
Absolutely. Very nice, though.
Very nice, and always in an interesting colour palette as well by Jerry. He always does things in his own style, which is nice to see.
Nothing wrong with that.
Very nice.
Very good.
Then we've got Lee from Delaware in Cornwall. He attempted to get the Aurora on the 1st of December at 10 o'clock. Well worth freezing his bits off for, he said. And this is using his Canon 600D. And he's processed this in Photoshop. So there's the hint of Delaware.
He certainly captured the red areas very well.
And he's got a little structure to it there too. Usually it's just a kind of a glow on the horizon at your latitude, but that's really nice.
And he's just got the sheer resilience and determination because he's always out there. He's always trying. We tried when we had the slight hint of aurora and people were seeing it over Yorkshire, but we literally got what looked like the tiniest faint red smudge on the camera, but it was a non-starter for us, really, which is a shame because I still have never seen one, not even a little one.
Oh dear.
But I will endeavour to keep trying.
Yes, keep trying.
And we've got a horse head by Kev, taken on the 24th of November, this is 1.5 hours integration, which is not a very long integration to say how much detail there is.
Very good.
That's impressive.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, for 1.5 hours, it's a lot of detail.
Very good. Well done, Kev.
Manual guiding he did there.
He needs to chop his neighbour's tree down.
And then Kev's obviously been busy because he's been on the Andromeda Galaxy as well in November. And this is 2 hours 15 minutes, and it's a 2-panel mosaic. So each panel was 2 hours 15, obviously.
Wow.
Yes. Very nice. Coming out well, Kevin.
I keep saying it, but I think we spent way too much on Hubble and James Webb. If we can do this for a few $1,000s in our backyard.
Absolutely.
We got everybody to just point at the same target at the same time and combine it all together.
Yeah, but the Hubble's got 24/7 clear skies.
Well, there is that.
So do you, apparently.
No, definitely not.
And then this one is my absolute favorite. I know I shouldn't have favorites, but I saw this and I just said, wow. And this is, again, Lee, which is Jupiter or a frozen bubble. So he took it the morning after the aurora. Not a gallery entry, he knows, he says, but it has the sunrise and it looks like Jupiter. And if you squint and stand on one leg, I think it's absolutely gorgeous.
Yes, they're very good, those.
Which?
Obviously, the great red spots on the other side.
It's just the detail is so nice. And it has the sunrise, so he's right. It's fine. It still counts. But yeah, I just thought that was really, really pretty and festive. So thank you, Lee.
Oh dear.
And
well done, you.
That is it. That rounds up our gallery.
All right. Let me. Oh, hang on. Press the wrong button.
Don't make me do it again.
Oh, oh dear. Right. So I've just got a message come through that Andy's having a problems with his internet. And obviously our speaker can't come on either. So
oh no.
This gets better and better. But obviously
shadow puppets.
Yeah, we'll have to
live rock paper scissors or
book. So anyway, never mind. We'll get through this. We're Brits. We can do this. And Americans.
Most of us are Brits.
Most of us, mostly. So, Lou, can you fill us in on what you've seen today in your location?
Yeah, sure. So as I mentioned, I'm at the American Geophysical Union conference in San Francisco. 30,000 roughly Earth scientists, heliophysicists, planetary scientists all converge on one city from all over the world. So, when I walk down the street to go to the conference, I hear so many different languages, and so it's pretty cool. Today, it's the entire week, and it started off for me with a session on Parker's Solar Probe.
Ooh.
And Noir Ralphie gave the talk. He's the project scientist for Parker Solar Probe. He gave an absolutely brilliant talk and some really interesting findings from Parker. So those of you who follow the Parker Solar Probe know that it has an imager on it called WHISPER. And it's designed to see the solar wind and all the particles that are scattered off the sunlight from the solar wind. And it does an amazing job at this. And they happened to be able to fly kind of through a coronal mass ejection, at the time that it's happening. And WHISPER saw the tremendous burst of electrified gas and particles coming out from the sun. And after that, there was nothing. It was completely black. They could even see a few stars. So no more dust. No more dust.
Ooh.
This is a significant finding. So these CME, not only that, but the CME was strong enough that it kind of rattled the Parker Solar Probe. The probe jittered a bit. I mean, can you imagine? Because the density of space out there is not that great. But it actually knocked the Parker Solar Probe a little bit. No problems, but they sensed it. But here's what's so interesting about this finding. Think about the early sun. The early sun was a T Tauri star. And T Tauri stars are very active, right? Lots of solar storms, lots of very, very high-powered solar wind, 5 times the density of solar winds today. And so solar events like that would have pushed all the inner solar system dust out in toward the outer solar system. Now, this occurred, this dead space occurred somewhere inside of, say, 5 solar radii. Well, there are about 107 or so solar radii to the Earth. I think this has some real major implications for the formation of our solar system. And not just our solar system. We see lots of solar systems around very old red KM spectral type stars. And these stars, by their nature, are very flary. They have lots of solar storms. So they're also having these solar events that are likely pushing the dust in their stellar system out into the outer stellar system. And so I talked to Noir after his talk. By the way, for those of you who have been following us for a while, he was on Space Oddities some months ago. Yeah, and told us a lot about Parker. So I talked to him a little bit and asked if this data has been sent to planetary groups who are interested in solar system formation and evolution. And he said, no, not yet. And I reminded him that at Johns Hopkins University Applied Physics Laboratory, where he works as the project scientist for Parker Solar Probe, they've got a Class A1 planetary science team in the Dragonfly mission. So perhaps he'll share this information with Dragonfly. So that was a very interesting set of talks on Parker Solar Probe, and they had some talks that followed on that also talked about the Whisper Imager and this dead zone of dust in the inner solar system that happens with these CMEs. NASA, NOAA, National Science Foundation, and hundreds of other groups have booths here at American Geophysical Union conference. The NASA booth is always the largest, always the biggest. They always have out these cool calendars that everybody wants. It's worth their weight in gold. And they have sections of their booth. It's massive for planetary science, aerospace, suborbital missions, heliophysics, astrophysics. I mean, it's just massive. So I made my round. I made the rounds of the NASA booth and got to see a lot of my peeps that I don't get to see except at AGU. And they had a model of the Parker Solar Probe there. And JHU, Johns Hopkins, has developed a, not virtual reality, but augmented reality headset where you can see the Parker Solar Probe, big as life, right in front of you, and walk through it and see its internal electronics and its propellers. I'm sorry, I said Parker Solar Probe. I meant Dragonfly.
Oh,
So Dragonfly, the Titan. And see all the components of it. So that was very interesting. It's a nice way to explain the mission. And it also allows people working on the mission at different locations around the Earth to all see the same instrument and plug and play their electronics and their power sources on the fly. So it's very cool. And let's see, they had there's a Dragonfly K through 12 challenge where students in, I don't know what you call it in England, but in the United States we call it kindergarten through 12th grade. So a 12th grader is maybe 17 or 18 years old in the United States. And there's a challenge to create a mission that is nuclear powered, just like Dragonfly is. Think up a mission, create a mission, tell them where you're going to send the mission, tell them how it's going to get there and what kind of data it will take and all of that, what kind of observations. And I guess there's a prize for this in the various age groups that are submitted. So Oh, in fact, it's right here. It's right here. Yeah. Power to explore.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I will post some information about that to our Space Oddities audience, and perhaps you would like to enter, or perhaps you have children or even grandchildren who might like to enter this contest. I thought it sounded pretty cool.
Yes.
What else? There's a lot of emphasis, a lot of emphasis in balloon missions right now. As you might imagine, it's a lot cheaper to send a balloon up than it is to send a spacecraft. And it turns out that you can do maybe 80%, at least in planetary science, you can do maybe 80% of the objectives from the decadal survey, the 10-year set of priorities that the planetary science community sets, by balloon, by launching your instrument by balloon.
Okay.
Who knew?
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So there's some constellation missions they're going to send up. There are missions where they're testing new propulsion systems. The NASA booth is only part of it. That's just NASA. Universities are here with their research programs. There are a lot of hardware companies here that build drones and spectrometers and other things for research. I mean, it's an amazing, and this area, this vendor area, is absolutely enormous. I mean, it's bigger than I think it's far bigger than a football field, or what would you call it? You would call it a
soccer ground.
Soccer ground. Yeah, so there are vendors from all over, including jewelry vendors who have, special semi-precious stones and precious stones. They make jewelry out of fossils and all this. So it's really kind of a wild time, and it's great until everyone breaks for lunch at the same time.
Oh, right.
And then good luck finding a restaurant that has, seats available.
Mm.
And it's rather expensive here. I bought a $12 yogurt the other day.
Oh.
And this morning I had a small cup of coffee for $4.
Gosh.
It's ridiculous. So I suspect these are conference prices.
Mm.
They kind of
So are there any space agencies from around the world coming to have a chat with these other companies then?
Oh, yes, partnerships develop here on the fly. I don't think, actually, I went through the vendor area. I don't think ESA has a booth, but I know that there are collaborators on many research projects from ESA and the EGS, European Geophysical Society, that are giving talks here as oral talks or poster talks. So it is an international conference. Lots of people from Asia come here. I guess because it's nearby. It's rather close for them.
All right.
So I had a talk on developing the next generation of fire detection methods from space, from orbital instruments in space, detecting wildfires on the Earth. And we had a small talk on a sun funnel that we've built. Do you guys know about the sun funnel? Have you heard of that, Roger? Or
not aware of that, no.
You take an oil. So if you want to put oil in your car, if you don't have an electric car and you have an internal combustion engine car, you have to put oil in it every now and then. And sometimes it's difficult to get to the oil. So they have this, plastic flute of sorts. It's small at the bottom and it expands to the top, and you pour the oil in and it goes down into the engine. So you take one of these and you clip it off right at the place where it could go around a 1 1/4 inch eyepiece. and then you get a some kind of a clamp to secure it to the eyepiece. And then you have this large, about that big around surface area opening that you would normally pour the oil in. But instead of oil, you put this kind of rubber top on top of it, secure it with a clamp, and you have a tool for observing the sun for many people. The light comes into your telescope, it goes to the eyepiece, comes up to the rubber stretched material, and you can see the sun. It's great for eclipses, right? So we are, you guys aren't so much, but we are here in the United States preparing for the April 8th total solar eclipse that runs across Mexico and the US and up into Nova Scotia. So all kinds of things happening. I could talk forever about AGU.
Oh, wow. Sounds like a very well attended and very interesting thing that you're at. So SpaceX is not there?
SpaceX does not have a booth here.
What about Boeing?
No, I don't think AGU caters to human space flight that much. It's robotic, you know, it's the cost-effective research that we're interested in.
Yeah. Send
the robots up and let them do their job. But lots of new missions on the books. There's a mission that's going to launch very soon to go to the South Pole of the Moon. It's a rover. I forget the name of the mission, but it's a rover, and it's built to tool around on the South Pole of the Moon and look for sources of water ice.
Right.
That's going to be important for human spaceflight when we land on the South Pole Aitken Basin. So that will pinpoint, hopefully that rover will help to pinpoint where the astronauts in Artemis 3 should land. Right? You have to land near water or you're, that's it. Too bad.
Okay.
So that's mostly it. There are lots of education talks, science education. Everyone's gearing up. Well, not everyone, but a lot of people are gearing up for the eclipse. There's a whole session on preparing for the solar eclipse coming up.
I'm sure.
And there would be 3 solar eclipses we've had over the United States in the last 7 years.
Yeah. I've got a couple of friends that are planning on going out to Texas to see the April 8th eclipse and looking forward to it. So I'll be.
Are you going?
I haven't planned on it yet, but I did see in the Sky at Night magazine, which came through my letterbox today, that there are tours to go out there, but they're starting at rather a high price.
Oh yes,
they start at around about £3,000.
And every hotel within the path of totality, which is about 100 miles wide or so.
Yep.
Every hotel there knows, we're in the path of totality. So their rates are 2, 3, 4 times higher than they would normally be.
I understand that. Yep.
I will be in Carbondale, Illinois at Southern Illinois University with NASA Edge, and we will be streaming interviews with scientists and telescope images of the eclipse. Hopefully it will be not cloudy. Hopefully it'll be clear.
So we've got
Kevin, where will you be? Will you be in Southern Illinois University or other places along the path?
I don't know where I don't know where his location will be. Hopefully he'll inform us of what that location will whereabouts.
In general, the best chances for viewing, in other words, the best odds of having clear skies are in Mexico, and then Texas.
Right.
And then up through the central U.S.
So he's in Austin.
Little worse as you go up into Pennsylvania, New York, and Nova Scotia. Staying in Austin, Texas. Oh my goodness. Well, that's like primo observing location. Great chance for clear skies. If you have anybody out there of our audience, if you have relatives along the path of totality or friends that you haven't talked to in years, this is the time to call them and say, hey, I really miss you. We should get together.
Yeah.
Around April 8th or so.
Yeah. Yeah, I did have some relatives over in Colorado, but they passed some years back, so I can't have that excuse. Never mind.
Well, there will be more eclipses. There are what two a year of some sort, solar eclipses.
Yeah,
and often two lunar eclipses somewhere in the world. If you follow the Saros cycle and all that. So
yeah, we got one in Europe in 2026 down near the south coast of Spain, I believe.
Totality there?
Well, we'll see. I expect it'll be cloudy if it's got anything to do with European weather. That's, I think that's due in August 2026. So we'll see.
Oh, we should plan to go out.
Why not?
I did go out to Europe for the 1999.
2025 and 2020. Oh, it's 25 and 26.
Oh. I did go to Europe for the 1999 eclipse.
Oh.
Took my daughter, who was 8 years old, and we went to Paris, and then a little bit north of that to Soissons, which was where totality was. And I thought about going to England, but I said, "Are you crazy? It's always cloudy in England."
Yeah, well, it was definitely.
I heard from friends in Great Britain that they had clear skies, and we had rain in Soissons.
Well, if I was in Startford in 1999, it might have been clear, but I'll never know. Yeah.
So anyhow, I'm sorry that I can't bring the AGU to you in real time, but it turns out that our streaming software is not very favorable to mobile devices. I don't know why that is, but we will figure it out. We will. Maybe I'll come to you in January. There's an American Meteorological Society conference in Baltimore, and I will be there. And maybe we can iron out our access issues by then, and we'll get some live interviews under our belt. That would be good.
That would be very good.
So are you doing, so you're not going to the eclipse next year?
No. Well, as far as I know, I'm not yet.
Oh, well.
But things could change, and then I'll have a problem trying to find somewhere to stay, because everywhere I'll be fully booked.
Okay, so if you're going now, if you're starting to make your plans now, or I'll tell our audience too, find a place off the path of totality by an hour or two's drive. You won't find anything of any sort of, maybe at all, or any reasonable price on the path. So plan to find a place a couple of hours off of the path where they still might have accessibility. They may still have hotel rooms, and then rent a car, and drive to the path. And Andy will back me up on this. I know he will. I know he will.
We've got an interloper.
He's having some internet issues, I think.
There we go.
There
Can you hear me?
Yes, can hear you perfectly, Roger. Can you hear me?
Over. Yes.
Good. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, viewers. Complete disaster. The internet at home has been up and down all day. When I left home this afternoon, they'd fixed it, but obviously it's gone down again. It happens so rarely, and it had to be tonight. So apologies that our special guest, Dr. Niall Smith, I've had to cancel because of the internet situation. A chat with him over email, and he will be joining us after Christmas. So to talk about bioforming and lots of other stuff. So apologies for that, but technology, eh? What can you do?
Oh, right.
We're at the mercy.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd just like to clarify the total eclipse position in Spain. I had a bit of finger trouble. So there's a total eclipse in Spain in 2026, in, as you said, Roger, August 2026. And that is visible, the most well-known place is visible from the city of Valencia, which is about 3 hours on the train south of us. And then there's another one in 2027, again in August, and that just clips the very southern tip of Spain, sort of Cadiz, Gibraltar, just the very southern tip eclipse. But both are total eclipses of the sun. It will be the first time in my life, if all goes well, I've seen a total eclipse of the sun after the washout in Falmouth in Cornwall in '99. And just you to know, Lou, that Bernard's joined us. Hi, Bernard.
It's Bernard. Welcome.
Guys. Just kind of snuck in there. Yeah. You and Mars snuck in. That's pretty hard to do.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. Sorry for being late. And good evening.
Better late than never.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just saying, Lou, that where we were in Falmouth in '99, which was on the line, right on the line of totality, it was clouded out. But 5 miles either side, it was blue skies. So the cloud was actually very patchy, and it just happened that we were in the wrong place. So some people saw it, some people didn't. And needless to say, I was gutted because my father had been telling me we were going to go and see that eclipse since I was old enough to understand what an eclipse was. The day before was brilliant sunshine. The day after was brilliant sunshine, but eclipse day was clouded out. I mean, it still went dark, obviously, but we didn't get to see the actual eclipse.
Andy, I have some great pictures of me in Soissons, France, with 2 tripods, 2 small telescopes on them, and 2 umbrellas to keep the rain off.
Oh dear.
Oh dear. That doesn't sound good.
I took pictures any way I could. I took my solar filter off and used the clouds as my solar filter. Please don't try this, guys. It's not safe. But I was desperate. So
yeah, I know. But Lou, you're quite welcome to come over to Spain for the 2026 eclipse. You can come and stay with us.
Oh,
and
fabulous.
We'll get the train down there.
Okay, I'm in.
Wait, you all heard him. You all heard him.
Yeah.
Well, why don't, as it's August, why don't we organise a big Space Oddities barbecue at my place?
Oh, I love it.
Good.
That's it. I'm sold. Count me in.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, we've got 3 years to plan it, so.
Yep.
Cool. Great.
Yeah.
I just came at the right time, right?
You did, didn't you? or the wrong time, depending on your point of view. So, yeah. So, how are you, Bernard? We haven't seen you recently. How's work going? How's the writing going?
Look, I apologize. I just don't have time to join these sessions anymore. Work has just been keeping me really busy, and that's just life in general, right? Family life, in addition to everything else. So yes, and unfortunately, because I've been really, really busy, I have not been able to move very far in writing my 3rd book. I'm halfway through, and I had to ask an extension from my publisher because these are generally what things happen. So my publisher is fine with it, but I will definitely need to carve up some time and get back into it. Which is why, Lou, I still haven't reached out to you for Titan because I'm stuck and I need to go back into it. So
it's okay. I look in my mailbox every day thinking today's the day I'll get a letter from Bernard.
Today's the Titan day. Not yet. But yeah, no, look, I'm doing well, thank you. How about you? How about you guys?
Oh, absolutely fine. Apart from the disaster tonight of no internet at home, apart from my mobile.
Oh no.
So it happens.
That's why we have your. That's why we have your lovely face in a portrait mode.
Yeah,
Yes.
it looks disgusting, doesn't it? It's terrible. But it's I blame the camera lens myself. But yeah, I mean, it's this technology, and I was saying earlier that it's actually very rare that our internet fails. But it failed this morning about 10 o'clock, and it was down for an hour. I came back up, went down again, came back up, and when I got in this evening, it was down. And what can you do? We're so reliant on the internet these days that you can't do anything without it. I can't even watch TV without it, for goodness sake. Unless I want to watch Spanish TV, which is a fate worse than death, really. So not keen on doing that. So I might actually
viewers here. That would be.
Hello, Ian. No, don't worry. It's. I'm afraid, Ian, we had to cancel our special guest this evening because my internet is down at home. I'm on my mobile. And I wasn't sure that was even going to work. So just to be safe, we've asked our special guest to come back after Christmas. So there we are. Yeah. So I might actually dust off a few Blu-rays. To watch. I know. It's terrible. But
well, you still have some. I have nothing left. Yeah, if the internet's down, that's it.
You don't have any DVDs or Blu-rays?
No. But I have books.
My goodness me! You have books, of course. Yeah. I've been doing a lot of writing as well recently for Sky.org. They asked me to do a series of articles. And I'm just writing one at the moment about why the JWST has not disproved the Big Bang or anything like it, which is quite an interesting thing to write. But
you're not going to convince anyone. Everybody's in their camp already.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, to add to what just Lou said, I'm amazed, Andy, you still have the energy and motivation to do these type of pieces because...
Why? I mean, well, like you, Bernard, I love writing.
I know, but there's writing and writing, yeah. And as Lou said, the problem is that the people who are not in the same camp as you are just going to say, nah.
Well,
we've been constructing arguments for flat earthers here at the conference because we each have a how we've met a flat earther or someone who knew a flat earther, and you've got to be kidding, but they're there. Maybe only in the United States. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I think there's quite a few in the UK as well, actually.
No kidding.
I'm sure there are.
They've got members all around the globe. Yeah, it's true.
And Andy, what's so it's really cool that you're writing these pieces. And how about the other idea you had in mind, which was writing something a bit more consequential in terms of?
Oh, I'm still sort of tinkering with it. I haven't given up on the idea. I still want to do it, but as ever, it's just, as you know, finding the time to do it.
Yeah. I like Andrew's comments.
That's good to hear, Andrew. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
We'll fight the good fight here in the States.
Well, the thing is, I mean, I personally don't know any flat earthers, but I don't know if there are any in Spain. I mean, I'm sure there are. But
how would you call a flat earther in Spanish?
Idiota.
Mundo or something is Earth, right?
In French is a plateur.
Oh, is it? Oh, right.
Plat is flat, and so you're like a flatter, basically.
Oh, I don't know what it is in Spanish. I'll have to look it up. I just call them idiots. It's it's a synonym that covers everything, really. So but I was going to say, if with regard to the article I'm writing, if we don't counter the misinformation that's out there, then we're really not doing it justice. Even if the number of people who read it and say, "Oh yes, that's true," is tiny compared to the the people that have been taken in by all the misinformation and hype. It's still worth doing because we have to. We can't let this stuff go unchallenged. And
that would be a good show or series of shows, challenging misinformation like flat Earth, like young Earth, like global climate change, and like we went to the moon. That would be a good theme. Our friends, our audience needs to know how to counter this with their friends.
Well, that's right. That's right. You're absolutely right, Lou. It would be worth doing because, the biggest problem that you have for these people is that they are expert goalpost shifters, that you pin them down on one thing and they then want to talk about something else. So perhaps we could come up with a guide for our viewers on the best way to approach these people. Because you could argue that, it's harmless. It doesn't do anybody any actual harm. But it really does damage the perception of science among the public and adds to this growing movement, excuse me, this growing anti-scientific movement that seems to be prevalent, particularly in the United States at the moment.
Oh, gosh, yes. Well, no, and I would agree with you in every case except possibly global climate change. Climate change denying does have a real impact on policy and what we're going to do about it.
No, absolutely it does. But as for all the other crazy stuff, we have to counter it. So yeah, let's think about doing some programs like that. And viewers, if you're interested in learning or us helping you perhaps deal with these people, if you come across them at work or your friends or whatever, because there seem to be an awful lot of them in a growing number.
I like this idea, and especially for me, I think we should start with the moon landings, because I have had so many, and I'm sure Lou and everyone here has had many conversations about people who are skeptical about it, and I always come with one argument, and it sort of calms everyone down, and it's related to the fact that how did we date the surfaces on the moon, because we collected the moon rock, and therefore we managed to then have sort of a template for the cratering on the moon surfaces, and how that we can actually use that to afterwards calculate or extrapolate the dates of cratering on the inner planets and such, and right, and then therefore we can build the science on that, and that's how a Mars exploration program is sort of uses that information and other things like that, and by sort of telling them how this how we use that information to build upon to support these very expensive and costly and complex science missions. I've had a few people that after I've presented that, they're like, yeah, I can see how that works, right? Instead of talking about, no, it's not the flag that's moving because of the wind, no, it's not the shadow or whatever, but maybe try to approach it in a different way than what you sort of read it on normal websites. I think that might be useful.
Andrew recommends a much easier approach, I guess, which is a crossbow. I'm not sure. I'm not sure officially we would sanction that. But
no, tempting as it is, though. Thanks, Andrew. Oh, if only in the perfect world. Yeah. Ian says there's only a theory, though. Yeah, I mean, actually, Bernard, on that very point, a couple of years ago, I did have a chat with a flat earther about the rock samples from the moon. Sorry, a moon hoax denier. Well, he was also a flat earther. They're quite often the same people. And his comeback was basically that the rocks were collected by a robot and brought back to the Earth.
Well, that's what the Soviet Union did, right?
Yeah, absolutely, they did. Yeah, absolutely. So, but when you say to them, well, it was over 600 pounds of rock, But anyway, it's something we can think about, definitely, I think. So there we are. Well, we'll give that some thought, viewers, and see whether we can come up with anything. Should be entertaining, if nothing else.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, we're not going to go so far as to invite a moon hoaxer onto the show, but we can certainly talk about them behind their back. So yeah.
What's this here in 2013? The voice message.
Yeah.
Right.
I can't remember that. That must be with Curiosity then.
Probably.
10 years ago.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Okay.
Human voice message transmitted from Mars.
The Mars rover was sent into the planetary system with praise for the mission and no praise for gold.
Right. Okay.
Not aware of this. That's interesting. Not aware of this.
Anyway. So, anyway, as we're getting near to the end of the year, it's getting very critically close to ordering your last orders for the Space Oddities hoodies, which are still currently at the economical price of £35, including UK postage and packing, with £10 extra for international postage. And
I'd pay for a large coffee in San Francisco, about 35.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Or £19 for a T-shirt. Should the global warming be enough for you to wear one on Christmas morning?
Well, in Spain at least.
Maybe. Okay. So let me get rid of that. Right. And if you want to support our show, come and buy a coffee. Use the QR code on the screen, and we'll much appreciate it. So scan away. I'll just leave that up for a minute. So we'll have our...
somebody, Rachel, perhaps you could do us a favour of dealing with this person in the chat.
Yes, give me a second.
Thank you. Yes, don't forget, viewers, the price of our merchandise will unfortunately be rising slightly after Christmas because of increased costs from our supplier to us. So we're going to have to put the price up just a little bit after Christmas. We haven't quite worked out how much, but it's not very much. So buy the merchandise now at the lower price and save yourself a bit of extra money for beer at Christmas. Which I'm sure we're all in favour of.
Yes,
I think that was on my Christmas list. We'll see how well my wife read my Christmas list.
Yeah.
I meant Santa.
Yeah. So there we are. Right. Well, as we're coming up to the hour, unless anybody has anything else, I think we will draw the program to a close. Thank you for being with us tonight, viewers. Sorry that we had to cancel our special guest because of my internet problems. Well, it's not my internet problems, it's my ISP's internet problem. But we're inviting Dr. Niall Smith back after Christmas to talk about bioforming. And don't forget, on the 16th of January, we have Frank Prendergast talking about archaeoastronomy, with particular reference to Neolithic monuments in Ireland. So that will be very interesting, I'm sure. That's the 16th of Tuesday, the 16th of January. We hope you can join us for that. And we will be back next Tuesday. That will be our last live stream before Christmas, of course. So I don't suppose we'll be doing one. Isn't Boxing Day on the Tuesday this year?
Yes,
I think it is.
Yes.
Yeah. So I doubt we may be back for Boxing Day. We haven't really discussed it yet.
What is Boxing Day? I don't think that we have that over here.
Oh, right. It's 26th of December.
26th of December is called Boxing Day. And there are all sorts of theories as to why it's called Boxing Day. One theory is that it used to be a time when rich people gave their servants a little box for Christmas with a little present in, hence Boxing Day. But nobody really knows. We just know it as Boxing Day. It's not
very nice to do it the day after Christmas.
No, that's right. Ian says we boxed the postman that day. Is that how you treat your postman, Ian? After all she has done for you during the year.
Just another English excuse to have another party and eat food with, without guilt.
Yeah. So there we are. So we hope to be back on Boxing Day, but we'll definitely be here next Tuesday as normal before Christmas. So from all of us here at Space Oddities, from Lou, from Roger, who I'd like to thank for stepping into the fold in my absence and doing a sterling job. And you could get good at this, Roger. So yeah. So and to Rachel, how's Isaac, by the way, Rachel? Is he okay?
He's okay. He's just not sleeping well at the minute. So me and Johnny are very tired a lot of the time.
Oh dear. So no imaging then?
No, Joe, the skies have been rubbish though. So luckily we've not had any imaging to miss. It's been raining literally forever.
Yeah.
But no.
By the way, did anybody catch Betelgeuse and the asteroid last night?
There were some clips on the social media about it, but it was only a few seconds anyway, so I haven't seen any major viewings of it, but some people did see it.
Yeah, I've just been looking at a photograph of a time exposure, and it turns out that Betelgeuse didn't dim nearly as much as astronomers thought it was going to.
Right.
In fact, they said with the naked eye you'd hardly noticed it at all. So it looks like somebody may have got the size of the asteroid wrong. So
we just have to wait for Apophis.
Yes. Yes. Let's hope we don't have anything bad happen with Apophis, although it's unlikely. So there we are. All right then. So anyway, I was saying, Bernard, lovely to see you. I hope you can find time to drop in again soon, and we'll keep in touch. And of course, for all of our viewers, we'd like to thank you for being here. And we hope to see you again at the same time next week when we'll find something to do, almost certainly. So from all of us at the Space Oddities, have a fantastic week, and we will see you very soon. And thanks for being here.
Yeah, and don't forget to look out for the Perseid meteors. No, Geminids. No. Sorry. Oh dear.
Is that a very early warning for the Perseids?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But the Geminids will be good.
Yeah.
And we've got asteroid 3200 Pantheon to thank for that.
Oh, really? There we are.
So there you are. Something else you've learned tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, it's clouded out, needless to say. But there we are. Okay. Right. Well, I'll leave it to Roger to end the stream.
Okay.
And we'll just say goodbye to everybody. So thanks for being here, and we will see you all soon. Have a great week.
Take care.
Good night.
Bye-bye. Good night.
Bye.
Keep looking.